Is liberty dying where you live? Escape to Keene at freekeene.com.
It's a beautiful day in Keene, New Hampshire at the Keene Police Department. It's been a long day of chalking. We've been at the Keene Central Square and also State Police Troop C, and now to wrap things up, we're here at KPD for what, Chris? Why are we here today?
It's National Chalk the Police Day, and so we're over here in sunny, beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, outside of the Keene Police Department. And before we get started, I figured we'd go invite the police to join us. I'm going to go offer them some chalk and see if they'd like to come out here and express themselves with us. I think that maybe part of the problem is maybe they have some like pent-up frustrations. You know, they need to commute. They need to learn to use their words. So we'll go offer them some chalk, see if they want to come join us.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, we were going to just express ourselves a bit with some chalk. We just wondered if anybody would like to join us. We've got extra chalk for you.
I'll go ask.
I'm sorry?
She said she's going to go ask.
Okay, great.
Now, it wouldn't be the first time Officer Peter Bowers did participate in Chalk the Police Day a couple of years ago. We were out at Central Square. He grabbed a piece of chalk and chalked a smiley face on the pavement. So I thought that was a nice show of solidarity.
That is nice. Did Stop Free Keene come and throw a bucket of water on him afterwards? Or?
No, this was before Stop Free Keene.
That's one thing. Now there's another message here.
Care to join us?
No, good, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Are you economics?
Yes. So,
I studied economics.
for example, I saw an article in the Keene Sentinel where then Chief Miola said that this big heroin bust that went down was going to reduce property crime.
I'm following you now.
You see, you reduce the supply, that increases prices, and thus junkies, steal to get their drugs. You know, so reductions in supply do not reduce demand; they increase prices.
I got you now.
You know, it just seems like I wish that there was more economic study in the world. I think that we'd all be a lot better off if people sort of understood the, unintended consequences of the laws that they lobby for and legislate and enforce. Okay. The cops, right? I'm pretty sure that I'm about to die, right? Yeah, I'm scared. And I don't know if you've read or listened to anything I put out since then, but I've said very openly, that was handled with courtesy and professionalism, which I really think is unmatched. I think that it was surprising to me.
Would this be a fair statement then?
Well, technically, you say did.
I am genuinely not worried about what the people do in shitholes halfway across the world. That's entirely accurate. And the government is sort of a large apparatus, right? So I have an incident where some guys come through and pull me out of a jam, and I'm grateful for that, right? And I've been very open with that. And some of my audience is like, "What are you, a pro cop now?" And they expect me.
So
not
you're
to be,
painting.
right?
You're painting a very broad picture, then, right?
Yeah.
You're painting with a large brush when you say this.
And I mean, at the same time, too. I mean, look, you guys came through and pulled me out of a jam, and like I said, I appreciated that. But I also am in a position where, Keene police have arrested my friends, put them in jail
What are you
for
crying
not hurting
about?
anybody, right? They worked with the Joint Terrorist Task Force to let a heroin dealer go, to catch a weed dealer so that he could wear a wire on activists. So it's a complicated relationship that we have with each other here. You are
When you say we, you mean the police and you? This particular police department and you?
This particular police department, yes. Police in general, I would say it's less complicated. I think the Keene police have sort of had activists chasing them around with cameras for 10 years. I am told by some people who have been around here for a long time who they believe that has made sort of a difference. But I do believe that the police department here is certainly a lot better and different than where I come from, right? I'm from New York. I got a gun out at 3 o'clock in the morning in New York. I'm a dead man, right? Exactly. So, I mean, it's and it's also like a small town sort of thing where yes, it absolutely is, no question about it.
Great commentary.
The group picked Keene or picked New Hampshire because it's safer for them.
Yeah, I mean,
We would agree with that.
I moved to New Hampshire, regardless of what any particular group says. I moved to New Hampshire because I find the government here infinitely more tolerable than just about anywhere else in the United States.
Okay, so hang on. When you say government, be more specific.
Mother. Well, I would say that the overall burden of state influence is lesser here than in other places. Now, if you want to get more specific, we can talk about different institutions within the state apparatus. The state apparatus is sort of a large thing, right?
But you're painting you're using a broad brush, right? Aren't you just you're just government?
Right.
Well,
because the institution of the government itself is at the core of the problem.
If I was to say all free staters are assholes,
okay,
that would be awful, right? Because I can't loop you with him, and I can't group you with him, and I can't group you with him, I can't group you with the dog, I can't group you with everybody, right? Because that's not fair. Would you agree?
We don't all make the same vows.
I would say that the difference between the two things is, now maybe you think, you could say all free staters are libertarians, right? And that would make sense because the Free State Project is something that exists with the intention of moving libertarians here for a political purpose, right? So if I said all government is coercive violence, that's an accurate statement because what separates the government from any other business is the use of initiatory force. And so that's the thing. Now, in the course of that, does government do other things that are valuable services? Yeah, I've called the police a whole bunch of times since I've been here because we've been under attack, and I don't want to be playing run and gun with these lunatics in the street, right? You are the de facto monopoly dispute resolution service for this particular geographic area. And so just like I have to spend Federal Reserve notes and drive on public roads, I will make use of those services, and I'll say thank you when you do something good for me.
You have options, right? I mean, you have options to not be here, right? You would agree.
It's getting dirty.
No, I'm just
Move
asking.
to Somalia.
I'm just asking. Well, I mean, you have options, right?
I have a limited set of bad options, I'd say, yeah.
You have options. Right?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay.
But like not
have
being...
to be there.
But not being under the boot of some government somewhere is not one of those options, right? It's not like it's not as if there is a place where markets provide the services that governments traditionally do. That does not exist. And so our purpose here, or at least mine, is to create that place. And that's going to create some amount of conflict, right? Because people like government.
Well, wait. See, there you go again. You just...
Liberty lady, you home.
I'm sorry, dial it in and I'll try to be more specific.
Everybody likes government. You said people like government.
In general, people think a government is a necessary thing, right?
They'll even say it's a
Saying
necessary
people
evil.
like government, yeah, it's
What's that?
entirely
I
too
missed
broad a
it, I'm
brush
sorry.
because I'm a person and I don't like government, but...
Some will even say it's a necessary evil, that they know that it's initiatory force, but that they think that it's necessary.
Right. I mean, there are cases when there is a necessary evil. Like, I guess let's pick something not so controversial. And you've talked about the plowing of roads, right? Who the frig's going to plow the road?
Someone that gets paid for it?
Okay, right. But let's say I don't want the guy that you picked to plow the road out in front of my house. So now you've got 10 trucks out there plowing a road.
That does seem inefficient.
20 feet long, right? Because your property line is what, 40 feet maybe?
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about...
You know what I'm saying? Like the road in front of your house.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I want one guy plowing that section, another guy plowing this section, another guy plowing that section.
Well, it's hard to really imagine how the market would organize things like roads, but there's a lot of different theories about that.
Yeah, I've got a few. I mean, if we're talking
I'm
about
sure you do.
privatizing roads, right? I mean, roads are a service that people want, right? I like roads. I like driving on roads. They're they're effective and useful. I mean, who knows? Maybe if government hadn't been subsidizing roads, we'd all have personal flying machines by now. Who knows? Maybe it's stifling innovation. But for now, cars, roads, real good combination. I like driving, and so I like roads, and I think that people who like roads are willing to pay for roads, and that seems obvious, right? I mean, people are taxpayers. Most people are not in the middle of open tax revolts. They're like, look, I got to pay for the roads, right? So people are willing to pay for them, and if people are willing to pay for them, then generally speaking, people who are willing to pay for services incentivize people to provide services, right?
I gotcha.
So we have, roads are paid for by, taxes and tolls, gas taxes, sales taxes, whatever. But, we have tolls on roads now. Why not just privatize the roads and put tolls on them? And then whoever owns the road, they choose who to plow the street.
Yeah, what controls them from picking, like if I want to go from here to Concord, and there's freaking 10 tolls from here to there. And one guy's got a $1 toll, next guy's got a $1 toll, and then the next guy down's got a $5 toll. I'm kind of stuck, aren't I? I've already paid this guy, and now I'm in the middle of now I'm in between here and Concord. I'm halfway there, and I got to.
I think tolls are.
I feel the same way about taxes, right?
Tolls are kind of an uncreative solution, right?
I don't want to pay. I'll be the first to tell you that. But unfortunately.
What about sponsorships instead of tolls? What about billboard sales or something like that? That way you don't have to stop.
When you say a sponsorship, you mean like I own a quarter mile of Route 9?
Meaning like, Route 9 brought to you by Goodyear or Michelin or, Toyota or something like that, right? Like you could have
manufacturers that have some incentive to create the demand for their product. There's any number of different ways that you can do it, but generally speaking...
what cars would cost then?
Cars would be cheaper without government regulation. There's all kinds of mandated
the EPA
stuff.
does to the motor vehicle industry alone.
But do you want any car driving out here that's emitting unbelievable fumes in the air?
No, people don't want that, so they won't get that, right? Like, there's a big green push or whatever. Some people don't, but they can drive old cars that do that shit.
You, or me, or him,
right?
Or him.
It's a her.
Her. Yeah. Right? They would shoot you dead in a second.
Right, and they have this terrible habit of getting elected, is what I find.
Come on now.
Well, look, again, even the politicians in New Hampshire, I will say, are a far stretch from what I'm used to in New York.
Okay, so let me ask you this then: if you openly admit, if you can agree that it's pretty good here, why not select a place where it's not so good? And try to make changes there and say, look at what New Hampshire's doing. Look at what Vermont's doing. Look at what the other states that you like, but look at what they're doing and make change in an area that's not so good. Why pick the easy route?
Well, I have some conservative friends who say they want a government just big enough that they can drown it in the bathtub, right? You ever heard that saying?
I've never heard that saying at all.
Well, the idea being to have a very small government, right? And this is a phrase that they've thrown around, just big enough to drown it in the bathtub, as in, if it gets out of hand, you can overthrow it, right? If you go to a place like New York, things are so bad, so completely out of whack, there's nothing that you can do. I mean, like I said, the politicians here are even better than in New York. These guys they'll come out to speak to your organization
it's
or
great
something
here.
like that, and then they will go
you don't have to
back
convince
up
me.
to their ivory towers once they get elected, right? And then they're just like, oh, fuck yourself, we're here, now we got what we needed.
Now we have you for 2 years at least, right?
And so, I found it amazing, so I went up to, Ian started bringing me up to Concord to go to the committee hearings at the House. And it was amazing to me that one of the guys, we went testifying before the Commerce Committee or the Banking Committee, I forget, and one of the bills that we had spoken on got amended, and a legislator just saw me walking through the hallway and he said, "Hey Chris, they gutted your bill, you might want to talk to the chairman of the committee." And I was like, this guy remembers my name, he remembers I was there, like this is not what I'm used to dealing with in New York. So it's a great deal better. But since it is better, then I have a better chance of affecting change, right? There's less problems to undo, right? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to talk to you about the war on drugs. Now, in New York, I got to do, these people were banning milk and shit, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous the things that go on in New York. The mayor with Bloomberg wanted to ban fucking sodas.
The big gulps or something.
How am I going to talk to a guy about the war on drugs when he thinks he's going to ban sugar? It's craziness. There's nothing that I can, it's just so intolerable to even try to, talk to people who are that far out of whack.
So you would say it's very difficult to talk to somebody who's at the completely other end of the spectrum than you.
Right. If somebody is on the path to banning soda.
So getting along is more difficult.
Certainly, yeah. And certainly, but like, if somebody is on the path to banning soda, I certainly am not going to get them to repeal the fucking war on drugs, right? So it's just, there's no point in having that conversation with them, right? I think it's cool that you come out here, you read the stuff, we have this conversation. This is awesome, right? And this is why I think that this is a good place. This is part of the reason that I'm here, you know?
And you can have a bigger impact in New Hampshire too, because of some of the reasons he's touched on, but also pure population, right? So like in New Hampshire, there's hardly anybody here compared to,
I feel like
New York
you
or
guys
whatever.
had better success. You didn't go from 0 to like 100 on some things. You know, you were maybe had more patience.
Like what?
More. Well, you know, he over here, he's pretty critical right out of the gate, right?
He's got his ways.
Yeah. Right.
I don't agree with all of his approaches.
That's what's great about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but
He's not even a Free Stater. He was here before the Free State
pretty
Project,
critical
right?
Out of the gate, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
And
rather
I've
than
been filing complaints on the cops before
rather
you
than
guys
be
show
so
up.
critical right out of the gate, maybe mull it a little bit. Wait for some time to pass to find out how you really feel about it, so you're not retracting. Though I know you don't do that. Right?
But we already know how government works,
Liberty Lady
right?
home.
Yeah, but
It works the same way here as it does in other places. It's just a little better already because New Hampshire is a more freedom-oriented place. Were you native up here, Kyle?
am I from here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know it's. I mean, maybe you don't know how different it is here because,
Well,
like,
yeah.
if you've never lived in another place.
I worked in Maryland as a police officer.
Okay.
For 3 years,
So, yeah, you know.
familiar.
I mean,
Let me tell you, I can promise you, things wouldn't go the same here. For you guys
I know that.
Down there, right?
Right.
You can,
Right.
You know.
Do you prefer being a police officer at a place like this as opposed to a place like Maryland?
I think, personally, taking the uniform aside, yeah, I like being here as a person. I'm born and raised here because I can talk to the person on Main Street, right? Working or not working. People hold doors for you, right? But as a police officer, it was a lot more fun down there because there was a lot more crime, there was a lot more of us, right? We were busy.
Doesn't sound like fun to me.
Right? Huh?
It doesn't sound more crime. Doesn't sound like fun to me.
But as a police officer, you want the excitement. You want.
Is that what you want? I would think you'd want safe streets and people to not be afraid.
There's going to be somebody there doing it. That'd be me, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like.
I mean, there's a real attraction to the adrenaline rush, right?
There are guys. I mean, I think you'll find. I think you'll find, and you probably have known me longer than any of these two, but I have no issue standing here and talking. I've always been, I think, fairly decent,
Yeah.
right?
I got no issue with you.
Even when I've arrested you, right?
What was that? The jail?
The jail.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember? Hey, Ian, come on, let's go with me.
Yeah.
Remember? Off we went. We walked down there. We talked. Right? It wasn't awful. It wasn't awful. But I mean, maybe for you it was.
Nah.
But
I've been arrested before.
but see, he's like, yeah, it was all right. See, so
As far as kidnappings go, this was swell.
Pleasant. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
You can have worse
you kinda
kidnappers.
Knew it was coming though. You were.
I honestly didn't. I didn't know. Remember,
Oh, that's
they had
right.
said
I forget that. That's right.
I got
You guys were,
convicted,
like,
but
all by
we
your
didn't
cars
know.
And, like packing up.
we literally were leaving, and we'd not been warned. Nobody had told us. When Frank came out from the jail and he bellowed at the crowd, nobody heard him because he mumbles. And so
Frank
oh God, what's his last name?
Morelli or whatever.
No, one of the jail guards. I'm forgetting his last. I should know his
But
last
anyways,
name.
What I was
But
getting at is you're right. Yes, I think that this is a lot better. I think I like being a police officer here because it's more community oriented.
yeah.
You know, like we hold National Night Out, right? It's a great event. We're working on sponsoring some sports teams where, all these things that are community oriented, which are good, and we give donations to scholarships and crap like that, and it's all
Pick
cool.
on college
That's
kids.
great stuff. See, then you got
He's right though.
You got kid who-
You guys
then you
do
got this
pick on
kid
the
who comes out
college
of the-
kids.
comes
And you
from
made
the-
$24,000 in
right?
fines off the
the
college
thing is,
kids.
Comes
look,
from-
I mean, the thing
But
is,
he's right about that,
I'm on the
Kyle.
gallery, right?
Like, I don't want to be standoffish with you right now because you're being cool, right? But at the same time, he's making a point, and I was tempted to make a similar point myself, that you're talking about making donations to things through the police department's funds, but the police department's funds are
No, they
gained
aren't the
through...
police department. They're not from the police department.
Okay.
They're from the Police Officers Association.
Oh, well, that's a swell thing you guys to do. Thanks, Evan.
So, but let me ask you this though. If I said, hey, if you jump off that building, you're gonna break your leg, right? Well, the next thing you do is go right up there and jump off that building? Probably not, right?
No, I'm not big
So,
into jumping off buildings.
okay, so if I said, hey, if you walk down the street with a beer can, you might get arrested? Is the first thing you're going to do is run out your front door with a beer can?
If I said,
Yes or no?
If I said,
No,
you wear that tube top, you might get raped. I don't think a lot of people would feel very good about me saying that to a person, right?
That's a fair comparison.
No, it's,
It most certainly is. Ian, you're smarter than that. Come
okay,
on.
I'm sorry. Explain to me the difference. So if I jump off that building, physics is going to break my leg, not you,
Yeah, but
right?
it's- you
but if
made
I
a-
walk
but
down
you
the
made a
street
conscious
and some
decision.
guy is going to
But
come
you-
up and
but
take
you-
me into
but
custody.
you made a conscious decision to jump off the building, right?
I made a conscious
Okay, so
decision
you made
to
a
jump off
conscious-
a building,
yes.
which the laws of physics say is going to break
So you're,
bones.
yeah, but you're making.
And you're making a conscious decision to arrest a college student for a can of beer when you could choose not to.
You're right.
And you know it's not making their life
And I
better.
have multiple.
You've chosen not to.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've witnessed that.
Right?
I
Good.
have witnessed seeing
So-
multiple.
There you go. He's giving you credit.
That's one. That's one time.
A lot of credit, Kyle.
So now just stop doing it all the time.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's not the way things work.
Driving
right?
without plate lights,
So-
I'm still
It could
on
be.
that one, though.
It could be that way.
But
Hey,
you're saying
what
that's
do I
not the
do?
way
I told my
things work.
supervisor
You
we
could
told me
make
the
it that
car
way.
needed to go on the road because we were short cars. And when you asked me about it, I said, yeah, I think they've been out for a couple
No,
days.
you were honest. I gotta
What
give
do
you
you want me
that.
to
See, that's 3 compliments now.
It's 3 compliments in like a minute.
when you're talking about the way things work, right? When you're talking about what you do on a college campus or how you interact with people on the streets, this is not the equivalent of something like the laws of physics
Yeah, but
breaking my leg when I
but
jump from a
forget
building,
forget
right?
the laws of physics. You made a decision
Right.
to jump off the building.
I made a
Just
decision
like
to,
they know,
to do something which the laws of physics say that I
See,
will.
you're twisting it.
I'm not
You're
twisting
twisting.
it.
You are twisting
This is you.
Not everybody knows that, Kyle. I mean, there are towns like Savannah, Georgia, where it's fully legal to walk around with an open container.
That when the freshmen come into Keene State,
Yeah.
I myself and 2 other people give them orientation classes where we specifically talk about if you walk around with a beer can, you're probably going to get arrested, so don't do it.
I'm at the police station.
And
Where are you?
they all laugh, they chuckle, hee hee, ha ha ha. And then when we arrest them, we go, were you in one of those orientations? Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. Were you told not to do this? Yeah.
Still, though, Kyle, it doesn't
Right?
matter
So
because it's not right.
Don't say they don't know, because that's not true.
But not everybody knows, right? I mean, not everybody knows.
But it
And
seems to me
besides that,
your
it's
premise
still
here is
not
like
okay.
The law is the law, right?
Well, you think it's not okay.
You know it's not okay.
What else do you
Who's
say
the
during
who's
those
the
orientations?
victim?
Why do I think it's not okay?
Shouldn't there be a victim to a crime? I mean, this is basic
Arrest guys
stuff.
For gun possession.
Boy, I'd have to go way back. That was like 8 years ago, so I don't know. I can't tell you if I know.
But it's not. You can't just go strap a gun on your hip and walk around Maryland, right?
At least not Baltimore, I imagine.
I think you have to have a permit.
Right.
Can I ask you a question,
I
Kyle?
don't know the.
But I mean, the point being, like, look, if we're here in New Hampshire, I'm carrying a gun, we're having a conversation, everything's fine, right? This is not a big problem, right? And there are people who would say that you have a right, an inherent right, to keep and bear arms, right? And there's this document down there in Washington that some dead guys wrote a couple hundred years ago that says, that this is a pretty big deal.
Probably not going to find that I disagree with you on the gun laws. So.
But the thing is, whether or not you agree with me is not really what I'm trying to get at. So the thing is, I'm here, and then I go visit my folks down in New York, right? And my folks, they love New York's gun laws. They think that's just a downright reasonable thing. And I'm like, I don't think it's a really, kind thing of my parents to say that I should go to prison should I bring my my licensed firearm from New Hampshire down here.
So then you don't bring your licensed firearm, right? Or you bring it and you stash it.
I will not be openly carrying it.
Don't answer that question, right? But you make
it goes in the trunk in 2 lock boxes.
You make a conscious decision to do something.
Right.
There you go. I don't understand what's
Because he's under threat.
Right. I'm making a conscious decision to comply with the extortionist, right?
Then
So.
don't do it. Don't do it and see what happens. I guess. Right? I guess roll the dice.
Well, I mean, there are some guys down on Main Street in Keene who said, "Don't record me," and then came after me, right? And so, according to the laws of this state, I have the right to defend myself when these guys come to attack me, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, but there's some sort of disconnect here, so that these guys can say, "Don't record me, or I'll fucking kick your ass," and then I'm allowed to pull out a gun and point it at his chest. But if someone else tells me, "You walk down the street with a beer, you're going to get arrested," all of a sudden I lose that option.
Yeah, I mean, I
An
hear
open
you.
beer.
I hear you. I don't think.
I do have a question about the orientation.
I think that the idea that you have is that there's a group of people who gain special privileges in the society, right? And there's some reason that you think that that's appropriate. Does that sound?
What? Who?
So I figure that if you're telling me, well, if you walk down the street, you're going to get, with a beer, you're going to get arrested, right?
I'm not saying
You might get
definitely.
arrested, and then I have no right to complain if I disobey this threat and I get arrested, right? So there is some kind of difference between this drunk asshole on Main Street and you
Hey, I work.
threatening people, right?
Oh, I see what you're going back to the badges don't grant extra rights thing, right?
Right, that's my
right.
ideal.
Why didn't you just say that? Would have shortened it. Well, you know.
But badges don't grant extra rights is a cool catchphrase, right? But you know, sometimes people
No,
hear
I
the
get you.
catchphrase and then they kind of dismiss it, right?
No, I hear what
And
you're
so, you know, I don't think that that's an entirely necessary thing. People say government is a
Well-
necessary evil. If I could posit that it is not necessary and then it is just
Yeah, I
plain
guess
evil, and then we can have markets take care of this problem.
I guess I would be interested to see what you think other options would be for law enforcement or for control. Because I don't think that we want just no control.
No, I don't want no control at all. I actually think that we should
Right,
probably have
so-
more control in a lot of ways.
So, have you ever heard him say that before? Have you
Well,
ever heard him say that before?
the market would allow that
But just those
because
words, I want more control. I don't think I've ever heard.
Well, I don't think-
Over certain things, yeah. I mean, like I am a really, you know, strict property rights guy. So, for example, you know, I go to Ian's house. This is a totalitarian dictatorship, right? Like he can tell me anything he wants at his house, right? Now he's not going to, right? But he is the king of his castle, and he can tell me what to do or to leave his place, right? Somebody comes over my house, they don't have any freedom of speech. They come over my house, they insult me, I tell them get the fuck out. They say no, they get a red dot on their chest, right? So,
So, I mean, that's pretty
For a call.
aggressive, right?
well, I mean, if somebody's
Lord.
refusing to leave my house, they're an intruder at that point. I mean, it's a
I
home
just think
invasion,
that's
right?
a little violent, but okay.
You know, I mean, I have the right to physically remove a person from my home if they refuse to leave, right?
Well, ask Kyle what he
I don't think I would escalate as quickly as Chris in that situation.
So I have this sort of way with words that I put things in shocking phrases in order to sort of,
It's part of your
Yeah.
part of your
Right.
gig. I get it.
you know, and I find, you know, it's a form of entertainment for one, but at the same time, it's something that I find, you know, for me, I never really, like, I was like a Fox News zombie for a lot of years, right? Like, I just thought, like, Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity were the most brilliant men in the world. And then what happened to me was I got arrested for a DWI in New York, and I was 1 point over the legal limit, and since I had another one 9 years and 2 days prior, I was threatened with 4.5 years in a state prison.
Like one whole point or like a point? Oh.
.01.
Okay.
Yeah. So I blew a .09, and I actually passed their field sobriety test to walk and follow your pen and whatnot, right? But because this machine said I was 1 point over the
There's no
limit,
pass or fail in that. by the way. What happens is
There's points.
The more clues in the test that are identified, the higher percentage likelihood that you are intoxicated.
right. Well, what I mean
got
by
you. I got
pass
you.
is
Go
the
ahead.
likelihood is that I'm not intoxicated. But the guy says, "Hey, blow into this." And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Hey,
he got you with the old PBT.
no
yeah?
problem." I'm like, okay, I had a couple of drinks. I was out on a date, right? I'm trying to screw some illegal immigrant, right? And so I'm
So why go
trying to-
there, right? Why
I'm-
can't you just say he's out on a date and just end right there?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to add some shock value to these things. So I'm out with this woman, and but what I'm saying is, so I'm trying not to be drunk, right? I don't want to be sloppy. I'm trying to seduce this woman, and so I am being careful about my alcohol consumption. Now it's like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Believe me, I tell you, you catch me 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday with a woman, and so. This machine says that and then I'm threatened with 4.5 years in state prison, and this was so shocking to me, right? Like it was this thing that totally rattled my entire view of the world, right? And so the reason I try to do things in sort of a shocking way is because I feel like other people need to get rattled, right? Because I was so comfortable with all the terrible shit that goes on in the world, and then it wasn't until this like shocking, terrible fucking thing happened that I said I gotta goddamn do something about this.
So you okay? I mean, so that was your turning point for you.
Yeah. I was, I just thought it was a crazy thing. And
How old were
first,
you when that happened?
I was, this was in 2009. I was 28 at the time.
How old are you now?
I'm 34. I look like an old motherfucker, right?
I would have guessed you were a little older.
What about you, Kyle? You 40?
Ouch.
38?
All three of you youngins.
That hurts.
38?
32.
30? You seriously?
Yeah.
You're younger than I am. Jeez.
So during the orientation, Kyle, do you
Still stuck on this?
because I had a question.
Got a question?
You don't prepare, or the school doesn't prepare the kids of liberty activists in the car block, do they? Do they warn them of us?
Never.
Just a
I'm not
question.
trying to answer this
We'll find out ways
politely.
for vote for.
You're not a thought that crosses my mind.
That's perfect. I like that. I like that because that's not what I heard.
Okay. I don't even know how to answer that.
So do they have to go to this orientation class?
Yeah.
Because there's what, 4,000 students? That's a lot of classes.
No. You're just
Or
a
no,
freshman.
freshmen.
Oh, just a freshman.
So 1,000 or something like that?
I think they're up to like what, 700 something this
Okay.
year. It's done over like a 3-day period. You do
What do you run down? What's the briefing?
200 or 300.
200 at a time?
I don't know, 2 or 300.
Can
I'm
we-
guessing.
Can any of us be invited to that to see how it goes?
I would suppose. I would guess you'd have to ask somebody over there. It's not mine. I'm invited as a guest. I go. You're told.
Because you are talking about a community.
So what do you tell them? No
Ordinance.
flipping cars, no pulling signs out of the...
Those will be on the new one. Yes, those will be on the new PowerPoint. Yes, but I don't think those have come up in the past.
And I strongly support arresting people who flip cars over. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we didn't
It
get
was a
that
bad
guy.
night for
We
everybody.
didn't get that guy.
Could have been more. Could have had to be more than one.
I think we got the recent one. The one 3 years ago. I don't think we got.
Oh yeah, I was talking. I didn't even know there was another one.
Yeah, the
Was it the Boston Red Sox?
Won, yeah.
Yeah, the 3 or lost. Won or lost.
They
One.
won.
I think they won and they went crazy.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't think we got that guy. The problem with that one was
They wasn't with their fucking sports
it wasn't
teams.
a lot. It's fucking ridiculous.
It was bad. It was pretty bad. They did a lot of
There
damage
wasn't
that
a lot
night
of
too.
video. We weren't able to get a lot of video of it.
And Kyle remembers, I used to live right on Davis Street. When that happened, I was right there in the middle. What's that? Yeah, I was there for 2 years.
I'm just saying. All right, guys.
Have a good day.
Pleasure, man.
Have fun.
You sure you don't want to chalk something?
What's that?
You sure you don't want to chalk?
Oh, I chalk my driveway all the time.
Do you?
Not this particular driveway.
All right.
Hopscotch?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hopscotch, tic-tac-toe, all kinds of stuff.
All right, Jazzy. Now that you're all dirty,
That was good
let's go.
commentary. I'm gonna post that right away. That was awesome. That was great.
Okay, good combo.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeene.com. Freekeene.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeene.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeene.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.